Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my review for Paddington, which is a movie that came out last week. So I should have probably reviewed it last week. Sorry. But I'm here to review it now. I just didn't have time. And when I mean I didn't have time, I mean I was lazy and I just didn't do it. So I'm here to review it now. This is a movie that has been getting critical acclaim everywhere. It has a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is crazy. Like I was not expecting it to get that good of reviews. I thought the trailers looked really good, but 98%, really? Wow. But I really was excited to see it. I love movies that are based on books that I read, as a kid, and they're actually good. I love that. I really do, because I'm like, you didn't screw up my childhood. Good job. Yo, good. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of Paddington. I read them when I was a kid, but it wasn't like something I was like obsessive. I didn't have any Paddington bears, like stuffed bear or anything. I didn't, but I did read them, so I was happy that this was getting good reviews and it was actually making money. So, what did I think of Paddington? Because it all matters on what I think. It sucked. No, I'm just kidding. Let's talk about it with, of course, the story. The story for Paddington follows Paddington, the titular character, or bear, who can talk. He's an anthropomorphic bear. He stands on 2 feet most of the time. Talks, drinks tea. He's British. So anyway, the story here follows Paddington, who lives in the darkest of Peru. He's a young bear. He has his aunt and his uncle there until a freak earthquake happens just out of nowhere and destroys most of the forest, including his home. And I ain't gonna spoil what else happens, but let's just say this is where Paddington actually has to travel to England because a long time ago, an explorer came and actually visited the darkest of Peru and visited these bears and, actually had kind of like a friendship with these bears. And the aunt decides, you know what, you have to go to England. He said you're allowed to go, you're always welcome if you go. So you have to go to him, find him, he'll give you a home. Find that explorer. He was a really kind man. He will give you a home, and he has to go, of course. Paddington has to go to England. He sneaks himself onto a ship and goes to England. And, of course, when he gets there, everybody's just like, talking bear, who cares? Like, everybody's walking past a bear that's, like, saying, hello, and, being all nice and stuff, and no one's reacting, which I thought was hilarious. I hate in these anthropomorphic movies about, animals, talking, where everybody has the silly faces when they hear the animal talking, and it's just like, oh, it's goofy. This movie's just like, who cares? And one of my favorite parts in this is when the family, the Brown family shows up, and you got Hugh Bonneville as the father in the family, and he even sees the bear, and he's just like, leave that bear, he's probably just wanting money. It's like, he's a talking bear asking for a home, and he's just like, no, he's probably asking for money. He's a gypsy, leave him. I love that. But anyway, of course, Paddington goes home with the Brown family. Sally Hawkins plays the mother. She's just like, oh, we really need to bring him in and help him and try to find this explorer that he's talking about. And of course, there's someone played by Nicole Kidman who really wants Paddington because he's a rare form of bear and she's a taxidermist and she likes to put, the animals in cages and stuff, stuffed, not alive. And that's a big conflict of the story. And also a big conflict is, of course, he has to find his home and he really can't find it. He's having a hard time. And of course, the Brown family, especially the father, Hugh Bonneville, is having a lot of problems with Paddington because he's a klutz. He's destroying everything in his house. He's not in control. So that's pretty much the story there. It's generic. Let's be honest, okay? You know where it's gonna go. There has to be a villain in there just so we can have a big conflict at the end. Not just like, hey, is he gonna find a home? No, you have to have a big conflict like, hey, is Paddington gonna die? Oh no, not Paddington! And of course, it's generic, but you know what? It works completely. Not only is the story a lot of fun, it's short, doesn't overstay its welcome, which is good. It's like an hour and a half, maybe 95 minutes, or 35 minutes. That would be a long-ass movie. It's an hour and 95 minutes. But it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's a lot of fun all the way throughout. I absolutely love Paddington. I thought Paddington was a really likable character. He wasn't, he didn't have his, Alvin and the Chipmunks hood on, and he wasn't rapping, so they didn't do that stuff. They kept to what Paddington was. He was a kind bear that just talked, and he was funny, he was kind to a fault, and he was really likable. And Ben Whishaw actually did an amazing job voicing him too. I have to give him credit. And I'll also talk about the CG that was used, which, ooh, beautiful. But I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, anyway, the relationship between Paddington and the family is, you know what to expect. The kids start really liking him, and of course the mother's already loves Paddington, and the father, he's gonna start to actually really care for this bear, even though at first he doesn't. It's still a really heartwarming, very, very well told family story that sure is pretty generic at times, but it's so fun and so funny, I should say. And you love Paddington, and you even love all the Browns, especially Hugh Bonneville, who I think is fantastic in this movie. I just absolutely loved everything. And also Nicole Kidman, hot. And like I said, all the acting, all the comedy completely works here, and mostly because the actors are completely game. Hugh Bonneville, I don't see him in too many movies. I mean, I know he's a long-time actor. He's been around. He's in Downton Abbey. He's in a bunch of stuff. He was in Monuments Men last year, which I thought sucked, but we'll get past that. Who cares? Whatever. But he was great in this. He really was. He was a lot of fun. He was really funny. At first, he's that character that's really. He's just really, I guess, pensive, and he's kind of like the ruler of the family. He's like, no, we can't do that. Don't do that, or you'll get hurt, son, or whatever. He's that kind of father. But then he, of course, starts to warm up, and he's a lot of fun watching him do that. The progression of his character from, the nice dad that just wants everybody to be, calm and don't hurt each other, into what he is at the end is really well done. Like I said, Paddington's great. The rest of the family's great. Nicole Kidman's a lot of fun in this film, even though her character, again, I keep saying this word, her character is what you come to expect from a movie like this. Her character's kind of generic. If I told you just who she was and you didn't watch her performance. If you watch her performance, then you'll just be like, okay, she's nailing it. She's first of all really fun in this, really, really goofy at times, but still very serious, like a movie villain should be, and she's a lot of fun in this. Yeah, so I thought she was great. Everybody was great in this film, and let me tell you, the CG on Paddington, holy crap, is one of the most realistic CG characters in a live-action movie I've ever seen. Screw Transformers, get out of here. Screw stuff like, I don't even care, Avatar, get out of here. Okay, maybe not Avatar, but, screw Transformers, I'll say that, because this is one of the most realistic, and just, it blends in with the real world so well. You can never tell it's CG. Paddington is completely CG throughout the film, and you can never tell. The CG, the fur, the movements, the animation, the way he moves his mouth, just how he interacts with his environment, how he interacts with the Brown family and all the other characters, excellent. Just perfect in this film. Every ounce of CGI, whatever you want to call it, whatever. I know I confuse those two sometimes, but the special effects are terrific on him, and even some of the other ones, like the other bears, his aunt and his uncle, they're great. Even the Darkest of Peru is obviously a special effect, and that looks really good, very colorful. There's not too many other special effects, which is why this movie actually has a small budget. It's like $50 million, which is big, but not huge for a movie filled with CG, especially with Paddington, who is the titular character. He's on the screen all the time, and he's always CG. That is pretty remarkable. But, yeah, I absolutely love pretty much everything about this film. Besides the story being a little generic, and it's definitely intended more for kids. There's a lot of really funny moments for adults, for kids, for anybody. There's a lot of British humor that I was a little worried that kids weren't going to get, but you know what? I watch it and I'm just like, if kids don't get some of this humor and don't think it's funny, then they're stupid. Go watch your SpongeBob and go chug on your chocolate milk and shut up. Sit in front of your TV and watch that. I'll watch Paddington, a really good but family movie, and I'll watch it. Screw you. It's a gore movie, not family movie. I'll just watch it. I don't care. But anyway, I'm going to give Paddington, I'm going to wrap this review up. I'm going to say everybody was great. All the comedy bits worked. It's great CG. It's probably the best movie of this year so far, which isn't saying much. But I'm going to give it a 37 out of 40. Yeah, that's right. That high. It's a really good film, and you should definitely check it out. A lot of fun. I love Paddington. Definitely go check it out. Thank you, and goodbye.